On Inside Grand Prix, we now continue flat out. 20 years ago, Michael Schumacher became world champion for the first time. Now, 3 champions and the first few meters of the 2014 season. Australia, tough track, pretty girls and a laid-back city. Melbourne, 5.3 kilometers, 58 laps, 308 kilometers in all. 6 straights, 2 slow corners, 3 ideal places to overtake, top speed 300 kilometers per hour. And here now, the hardest braking point on the Albert Park circuit in Melbourne. It comes right ahead of turn 1. After the long straight, the F1 drivers have to brake hard, slowing by 169 kilometers per hour over just 92 meters. Releasing in the process 3,004 kilowatts of energy. The driver's subjected to 5.78 G, yet at the same time has to push with 148 kilograms down on the brake.
The race I look forward to most, of course, is always the first race, because that's the wildest race in terms of not knowing, of everyone not really knowing where they are in terms of performance. So, and you don't know how the tyres are going to behave, so it's a bit more of a lottery.
Lottery or not, it's important to know the circuit inside out.
So this is a lap in Australia. We are in the main straight. We arrive around 300 kilometers an hour in the first corner. We arrive in 7, we put 3rd gear, and then it's a very high-speed chicane.
Melbourne's an incredibly difficult circuit. It's not a permanent racetrack, so there's not much grip. The track changes a lot over the course of the weekend. On we go into the right-hander, 2nd gear here before we continue across a parking lot.
Then we arrive to another heavy braking, another chicane, turn 7, turn 8 in full acceleration. Then there is this long corner that we go up to 7th gear again, around 290 kilometers an hour.
It's also important when the track's wet to keep an eye on the traffic lines. They're very slippery. Brake now down to 3rd gear over lots of bumps before we enter the back straight and speed right up to 6th, then 7th gear at just over 300. We then pull back slightly and drop down 2 gears to 5th.
We brake 3rd gear and we arrive to the last 3 corners. One right-hander very fast in 4th gear around 200 kilometers an hour. And the last 2 corners. One left, very small speed, like 50 or 60 kilometers an hour, and the entry of the straight around 4th gear, 200 kilometers an hour in full acceleration. So bumpy circuit, a lot of braking, chicanes, and traction and turning is very important in this circuit.
That was a lap in Melbourne. Now the young guns of Formula One. It's the pinnacle of motorsport. Thousands dream of this job, but only a few get to live the dream. It's a place only for the best. Making it or not making it, down to fractions of a second. It's the world's most selective club, this year with 4 new members. 19 years old, Daniel Kvyat from Moscow, a baby-faced driver with great determination. Age 12, Daniel's motorsport career took him off to Italy all on his own. A Russian rough diamond who later got a final polish in Milton Keynes at Red Bull. The youngest Formula One driver this year and the new face at the Scuderia Toro Rosso.
Doesn't mean that I can take it really easy, because everyone expects everything from you since the beginning, and that's what I also want. I didn't come here just to watch around, but of course to push hard on my limit, on my maximum, and I will do my maximum, and then we will see where it will bring me.
A talented linguist, in addition to his native Russian, fluent in English, Italian and Spanish. He'll easily cope with the media circus, and he's said to be fast in new cars from the off. Number 1, Jean-Eric Verne can still laugh for now, but Daniel will quickly make things serious.
He's a young driver, really talented, really quick, so I expect him to challenge me already from the first race, and I'm sure it's going to be a good driver relationship we are going to have.
The cool north is the pond from which Formula One's currently fishing its new talent. 21 years old, Kevin Magnussen, Danish dynamite, son of the former F1 driver and Le Mans winner Jan Magnussen. A man of the north, blonde with ice-cold eyes. Magnussen Jr. makes few mistakes, has good basic speed, and has been rewarded with the second seat at McLaren Mercedes.
When I heard the news that I got the seat, it was obviously a big surprise for me, because up until that point I didn't really know where I was in terms of getting the seat. So it was a big surprise, and it took some time to really realize what exactly happened.
He arrives as reigning champion of Formula Renault 3.5. Advanced praise for a man who'll immediately be under great pressure at top team McLaren Mercedes. First season, a competitive car, plus as teammate, a world champion, dapper Jenson Button.
I think he's got his head screwed on. You know, I think he's done very well in lower categories. Obviously, that doesn't mean everything in this sport. And from what I've heard, his feedback was very good, and that is something that is key in motorsport at the moment, especially at the pinnacle in Formula One.
From Magnus' son to Eric's son, Marcus, 23, the 10th Swede in Formula One, seen as a strong qualifier, but with a tendency for mistakes under pressure. Mistakes that will be forgiven more quickly at Caterham than at other teams. His advantage, he brings with him 5 years of GP2 experience.
It's a big opportunity for us to make an impact, and I'm really excited to start working with all the Caterham guys, which is some of them I worked with before. So I'm sure 2014 will be an exciting year for all of us.
A new, old, familiar face, his teammate, Kamui-san, known at Sauber for his combative driving style, but with very fluctuating performances. After 2 full years, a year's enforced break with no drive, now back again, Kamui Kobayashi.
I mean, great it was back in the Formula One. Unfortunately, I mean, car is not really easy situation. I mean, we have a lot of trouble in the car with the system, but yeah, I mean, always exciting back in the Formula One, and driving the Formula One car it's a great experience.
The exclusive club of 22, 1 returnee and 3 rookies, their dream to one day be Formula One champion. Now, the Formula One family anxious about its greatest idol. Michael Schumacher, shortly before Christmas 2013, Inside Grand Prix accompanies him on his last public appearance, with no trace of any yearning for motorsport. As I did back then, I've adapted to my new life relatively quickly and feel very at ease. I've got my role and I'm happy with that. 29th of December 2013, Miribel in the French Alps. On a family holiday, the 7-time world champion has a skiing accident and suffers a traumatic brain injury. The Formula One family holds its breath. Its most famous son gets put into an artificial coma. The doctors fight for his life. Some weeks ago, the process of bringing him out of the coma was begun. The consequences for the champion remain unpredictable.
It's horrible for, especially I think for his family and close friends, not knowing what's going to happen. So, in that regard, you know, as I said, I think I'm still as shocked as everybody else, and obviously pray for, you know, and hope that he will just come back and the miracle will happen and he will be the person he has always been before.
Michael Schumacher, the golden boy from Kirpen, who breaks all the records. The first German driver for ages who's got more than mere talent and who fulfills the Formula One hopes of an entire nation. Having learnt the ropes with the Mercedes junior team driving sports car prototypes, he can't refuse the call. 91, his debut, Spa-Francorchamps. A year later, his first win. At the 94 Australian Grand Prix, he becomes world champion in a Benetton. With his switch to Ferrari, Schumacher gains cult status, the Tifosi and Il Tedesco, a love story, an era, an unforgettable experience. For me, that's naturally Suzuka 2000 winning the World Championship. 21 years for Ferrari with no championship, myself trying for 4 years. At the 5th attempt, we did it. That was naturally a very unique moment. The race itself, a very special one of my best ever. From 2000 to 2004, Schumacher takes the title 5 times in a row, dominating the competition. In total, he ends up with the best ever record of 68 pole positions and 91 Grand Prix wins. A nation turns red. In Germany, this unique driver thrills millions. His fans making the pilgrimage from race to race. And he rewards them with meticulous effort and perfection. In 2006, he fights for the title for the last time, bowing out as runner-up. Simply a shame.
A very early Christmas present. I'd like to introduce Michael Schumacher.
December 2009, ex-Ferrari boss Ross Brawn and the newly formed Mercedes GP team announce his sensational comeback at 41. The greatest ever Formula One icon is back on the grid. I was drained. After 2006, I simply had no motivation left. I couldn't have gone on. My batteries were completely empty. Now, after 3 years, they're simply recharged again. There's a new motivation there and a good combination. As the figurehead, he was to use his experience to make the new Silver Arrows shine. But instead of quick successes, grey theory and dogged development work thwart Schumacher. In 2012, the final farewell. After Formula One and everything that I've already experienced, there's no longer anything there to really challenge or lure me. I'm living my dream very intensively and I'm very happy. Fans and colleagues around the world are praying for him. We say, along with Ferrari, Forza Michael. Donuts to end with. That was Inside Grand Prix. For the next program, we move on to Malaysia. Thanks a lot for watching.